Welcome to the Trading Lounge. I'd love to share with you the trade I made today on my journey to 100K, where I try to take a small account to $100,000 as a rookie day trader. Today, I am happy to say that I did trade and I am green. August is more of a proof of concept month. I did pretty well when I first started the challenge in like December, January, early February. Been in and out of drawdowns ever since, and experienced a big loss in June. And I'm just kind of really trying to kind of refigure myself out as a trader, you know, how I want to go about this moving forward. And so small size, 100 shares at a time. And here in August, it's about like really trying to make some trades and kind of prove the concept to myself that, you know, things are on track. And yeah, so let's get into it. So I am going to show you guys today a live footage of the trade. I'll talk about the trade for anyone who wants to just see what I traded and get out of here. But after that, I'm going to pull up the live footage because today I get asked a little bit, not a ton. It's not like the channel's huge or anything, but I do get asked about how I use level 2 to make some trades. And while I have been in a little bit of a slump, this was a good example of how I used level 2 to make this trade. And so I figured, well, let's just throw it out there. So first off, this is the scanner that I'm using. It's called Charts Watcher. And it's a pretty good scanner. If you're coming from Day Trade Dash or over from the Warrior Trader folks, it's a wonderful replacement and far more versatile. You can customize this to any way that you want. And I've made a few changes to this, not really with how the scanner itself works, but more what I want to see in colors. And right now, this might look pretty flashy to people, but if you've ever looked at Zindu on YouTube, what I'm trying to do with this, and I'm not trying to take credit for this. My boy Marius, he's the one who put this together and shared it with me, and I've just been making some tweaks, so I don't want to take credit for it. But the idea behind it is that just like Zindu on YouTube, where like if everything's green and there's a little purple in there too, it's a sign of positivity. And so that's kind of how this was built out and how I'm kind of piggybacking off that as well. So when I see an alert come through on the scanner, and like you can kind of look up here on this top gainers, low float top gainers list, how everything's kind of green here. There's dark green. There's also light green, which is basically just a little bit lower float or a different price range. But mainly if it's all green, all signs are go to be able to, we still have to find our entry. But I'm looking at the stock. And the stock I traded today, which was BRNX, when it showed, and I'll show that to you guys, it was all green. So except for it didn't have news. So it met 4 pillars of the stock selection in my mind anyway. And that is why I ended up trading it. So anyway, that's the stock that I was using, and that's the scanner I was using. And I want to go over a couple of the stocks I was looking at. IVF, which is still on this scanner. So on the top gainers list, it's currently up 114%. IVF, and then I had IPST. Those were 2 that I was looking at this morning. So continuation has been something that I have not been great at, but I've been practicing. And I've been sharing with you guys, sharing on my journal here on YouTube about the things I've been struggling with when it comes to continuation. But I have been watching. I've been working in the sim. I've been learning. And so this morning I wrote down. This is not just this morning. It was this morning I wrote it down as a result of everything I'm going through and what I thought about this weekend. But I wrote down, what are the things I'm targeting today, and let's visualize that. So I spent the first 30 minutes visualizing, and so before I started trading, and I wrote down my typical stuff like breaking news, the initial breakout off breaking news, and we just haven't been seeing much of that. So I didn't see it today, so it is what it is. And then initial breakout without any news. And then within those, I want to trade the first 1-minute candle or 10-second candle to make a new high with some other criteria that's got to kind of meet up for me. But basically, that's the gist. That's my favorite setup. I saw it a couple times last week, but I was very skittish last week. Timid Timmy came out to play. I didn't make a bunch of trades So this week, I'm like, if I see it, I'm gonna make a trade today. It's gonna happen. And then for continuation, I said the break of a pivot, which I will show you, the break of VWAP, I'll show you that today as well, and then also the bottom of a curl with a tight stop. And that's something I've been practicing in AH that I have started to enjoy. And I saw it today. I didn't do it, but which is the common theme here over the last couple weeks, seeing plays but not doing it. It's only because it was number 3 on my list, and I just was. I'll show you. IVF was the first one I was looking at this morning because it was the first one that had any kind of volume. Let's go in here, reset the chart, and then move over to here, and I will show you guys what I was thinking. We can use the big chart here on this guy. IVF was 7 a.m. right here. And so at 7 a.m., I'm looking for something that could potentially make a move. And we've seen things move right at 7 a.m. And this one did the same. This one, I was just looking at the 2 or 3 stocks that were on the top gainers list. This one kind of curled down. This is 659. And then as soon as 7 a.m. hits, this comes up, goes up. Bam, this candle goes from a low of 285 to a high of 312. It was certainly a tradable candle. But sometimes you can get this red that happens right away. So it might show a little green and then bam, and then you're kind of screwed there. But I thought about going in there, but I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm in my flow state, and I don't think that's the trade I want to take today. And so I didn't take that trade. But I mean, honestly, a decent trade just because volume's going to come in right at 7 a.m. You just don't necessarily know where it's going to come in or how it's going to come in. It would have been kind of cooler if this would have been set up for something more of like a pivot. So like how this came here, and then if this was still trying to come up maybe right at 7 a.m. and cross over this pivot point and then go, I think I would have been more inclined to potentially take that trade. But I think IVF was this the one? Yeah. I think this was a little bit thickly traded throughout the day. And so it was kind of hard. Like even now you can see like it basically had like a lot of orders stacked up at one price on the bid and the ask most of the morning. And so it was kind of thickly traded in my opinion. What is this? Why is this highlighted? Let me click off that. Okay. So the other one was IPST. And I wanted this one today. I was watching it, and so let's talk about a couple of the setups that I saw. So this is from this morning right here. It went from $2.46 up to $7 this morning. If you were up at 1 a.m. this morning, West Coast time, and you traded that, man, good on you. It's trades like this where I'm like, man, maybe I should get up. Maybe instead of 3 a.m., maybe I should get up at midnight. No. So watching this, it didn't really do anything right at 7 o'clock. Well, that's not true. Volume crept in at 7 o'clock. It started to climb right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see this. And I really was looking for a trade here. I liked the stock. It was continuation, no news, but I knew that like we might have something here. But I don't like to trade things under VWAP right now. I will say that I do like to trade momentum candles no matter where they are on the chart. But it's not like the best strategy that I have, and I didn't feel comfortable making that my first trade. Maybe like after a cushion or something like that. But I mean, it's pretty easy to see that the momentum was climbing here, and I just was looking for areas to potentially trade it. Like I thought about trading right there as it kind of went up above that, and I'm like, it's still under VWAP, and like I like to make sure I'm trading things over VWAP, and when the MACD is positive. So there was an opportunity to trade this. It comes over, it crosses VWAP. And then right here, this candle opens and goes above, goes from 631 up to like 668 with pretty good volume. I mean, if you look at this profile, this is a pretty good profile. This is kind of what you want to see. It comes up over VWAP, and then it holds over VWAP. This opens and goes, and bam, good to go, right? Pretty good little trade right there. I didn't take it, and I thought that might be the one trade that I'm going to miss today. We might not get a lot. By the way, my mindset today, you just heard me say it. There was a point at which I think it was after this move right here where I was like, I just don't think traders are in it today. I don't think that there is. I don't think there's no committing. No, they're just taking the day off. There's no one's committing to anything. That's what I was thinking. And then there was a point where I'm like, that's a horrible mindset to be in. Like that's just me justifying why I'm not taking a trade. We got to get out of this mindset. It was at that point I started trading in the sim. We'll go over that later, but I traded a bunch in the sim just to kind of warm up and then I'm like, okay, we're in the vibe. We can make a trade. So I saw this. It tested VWAP right here, and then it came down and broke VWAP right here. And this was a moment where I had thought about going in. It's something I've been looking at. And this is accomplishing a couple things on my continuation list I gave you. This actually comes up. I love how I said I was going to be quick with my trades, and I didn't. I should have done those first. Sorry, guys. But this comes around, taps, and then so this is actually like a pivot point right here, and it just happens to be right around VWAP, which is cool. Comes back down. Right in here, I thought about it. Volume's kind of creeping up. The MACD's kind of moving in the right direction. It's much less of a break of VWAP trade and more of what I was saying in my list was like as it's kind of curling up, you're finding a spot to get in for a potential move up. And it just happened to coincide with VWAP and this break of this pivot. So I was thinking about entering in right here. As this candle opened and moved above the EMAs, I'm like, I could get in right here, just over $6. Like this EMA is like right around $6, right? Yeah. So, and my stop here is just going to be $6. Or if it breaks under $6, we'll call it $5.95. So $6 the EMA. The EMA is my stop. And these are trades I'm practicing in AH, and I like this. I like this a lot. Because the risk is defined really easily right away. So it's like, okay, this looks like a pretty good little setup right here. As it starts to come back up, this is a good looking candle right here where this one opens right around those EMAs. It's pushing up a little bit. Let's take a stab right there, right? So you're in at 605. It climbs up. It breaks VWAP. It comes up over VWAP, and maybe you take a profit or whatever you do. But there was an opportunity there to take profit. And I was watching this hoping that this candle would open and it would shoot above this and we'd get like a pretty good move. It didn't happen. Now it happened over here, but I was hoping that this would happen, that this what you're going to see here, I was hoping it was going to happen here. Either way, I wasn't in. So, and again, right here is where I was thinking the traders just aren't, maybe we're not doing it today. Maybe it's not happening. But then I'm like, yo, listen, I mean, traders are going to trade. They're going to find something and they're going to blow it up. It doesn't really matter what's going on. It's going to happen. They're going to pick something. If there's no news, if nothing's moving, someone's going to pick something and it's going to move. It always happens. And it happened right here. So I actually have a recording of this and I might go over that today on top of the other one. But with this trade here, similar thing. As it comes down, it's retesting this VWAP. It opens up. It goes over VWAP, pulls back. This opens. And here's a moment where I'm like, okay, if this breaks, I don't want it to reject off this level. So now in the stock's defense, it didn't reject off this pivot point when it did it here. So like I could have probably felt safe-ish going ahead and trying to make a play just over this pivot or just before. But this is another one of those moments I thought about getting in earlier, like as this was starting to climb right here, close to these EMAs, as it was approaching VWAP, or as this candle opens and it starts to push up a little bit, let's get in, and then we can set our stop around the EMAs or the VWAP. These areas where they're consolidating around these VWAPs and EMAs gives me a confidence in my exit, because I'm just going to exit. As long as I enter in tight enough, I can just exit on those EMAs or those VWAPs, those indicators, and I kind of just like that. I understand the indicators aren't the end-all be-all, but I just have started to kind of like these areas, and they allow me to get in early. And I was watching for a break over. I was wanting to get in at like 640, just so it gave it a room to clear. A little bit different than last week where that one was 635. This was too close, so I went 640, 645, and I wanted to see volume and 640, 645 for the break of 650. And I was ready to hit the button. But what ended up happening here was it climbed up to, was that sitting at like 620, I want to say, or 630? I forget where it was. And then it came really close to 640, like 638, and kind of bounced in here just a second. And then it went from 638, or it never hit 640 on the ask. It went from 638 or 639 right up to over the pivot. So like 660. So that jump was like 20-cent jump there, and I missed my entry. I had a spot I wanted to get in. So at that point, and then right after that, it went up to, I forget what it was. I think somewhere in here, it actually went up and down. I'd have to see on the 10-second chart. I think it hit I want to say it hit just under $7 and then came back down a little bit, and then it ran back up and then it ran up. But anyway, I missed my entry, and at that point, you don't have much time, and there was really only 20 seconds. This happened in 20 seconds. And so I missed the first move, and by the time I'm looking for that, I either have to get in on some momentum, or I have to get in on a pullback and kind of hope, or I just decided I wasn't going to chase it, and that's fine. But I wanted it, and I would have hit it had I saw my price, but it just went from 639 to like 660, 665, and I'm like, if I hit it here, and when I go look at the video, it looks like I probably would have got in if I had hit it. When I saw the momentum, I think I would have got in at like 680, which would have ended up being okay. But if you look at the 10-second chart on that move right here, I'll show you is only 10 seconds right here. Really right here is when I saw them. So I was kind of looking in this range, and it just shot from 640 to 720 in a matter of seconds. And you still can't even see the pullback here, but it did come down. There was a point in which it actually came down in this 10 seconds before it ran back up. Came down under $7 as like a little pullback if you wanted to go in for the break of 7, and then it shot back over. You just can't see it here. So if I got in at like 680 or 690 on accident and then it came back down, I probably would have just got out, So who's to know? Anyway, that's kind of that's an area I'm looking at. I want to make those trades. And but it just didn't hit the number that I wanted. But I will say I want to get in. I do want to get in a little early on those. Like I'm starting to I'm adding that in. I added that into my continuation. So right now I only have, for continuation, only a couple things that I'm focusing on. So let's get to the thing I actually traded, BRNX. And on the scanner, is it up here still? It's probably not up here. And that's the kind of the thing that sucks about kind of the scanners and how these things work. But what I could do is maybe I'll wait till the actual live recording review of this stock. I could show you guys the scanner. The problem with one of the things that will annoy you coming from Day Trade Dash, if that's the platform you're coming from when you come to ChartWatcher, is it ChartWatcher doesn't keep as long of a live history of the scanner. So I can't scroll down forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and find what I want. But they have a really good back testing tool. And I'm going to go over the trade real quick here, and then when we go over the live trade, then I'll show you the back testing tool, because it'll show you kind of what I was seeing there, and you can see kind of how that feature works. It's actually pretty sick. So main, and let's reset the chart. And yes. So again, I'm going to go over this live. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing right here, but this thing hit the scanner right here. This was continuation from this morning. So right here, continuation from this morning, marked off a couple lines. And I liked what I was seeing on the tape, which we'll go over in a second. And I got in right here as this came down and shot over 475. I got in at 480, I believe. Oh, I tried to get in at 480. I got in at 490, which is fine. It jumped up to like 536, bounced back down, somewhere in that range, 520, 530, bounced back down, and I got out for 13 cents, I think was the, 89, basically 14 cents, 13 and a half cents. I guess you should look at the P&L and see that. But so what I thought was like, okay, and this might, I'm not focused on the money side of things right now. There's my largest trade in this account in a single day, I think, is $400 on 4,000 shares. And the most share size I've taken on this account, when I went and looked back at the data, is 15,000. That was like on a penny stock. So I've taken big size before, and I've made okay money on this account. But the biggest loss I've taken on this account is $800. So in one day. And that's what's got me kind of, we're dialing it back and just kind of trying to test the waters, going in with 100 shares. And the reality is this. If you go back to my original few videos, and my buddy Damien sent me a video, one of my original videos, and was like, just as like a reminder. I was like, hey man, this is how you used to trade. You need to think about this, right? And I go look at it, and it's like, I'm ignorant in that mode, but in some areas it's kind of nice to know, like, basically I'm overthinking it right now, and he's right, and everyone's kind of right. We're overthinking this quite a bit here. Like, we see my entry, let's get in on the entry that I want to get in on. If it doesn't work, you just get out. It's not a big deal. As long as we get out and we've learned how to manage that risk, which, by the way, there's a wonderful book for that. I'll link that in the comments. It's just interesting to see some of those old trades where all I was doing was trying to get 10 cents. Because if I'm going in with all my buying power with like 10,000 or something on, let's just say I went in with 10,000 shares on this stock, and you make 10 cents, that's $1,000. So you don't have to be making 50 cents a share and $1 a share. Now, if this would have went up a couple bucks, that would have been cool. I left a little money on the table with this one, but that's okay. So it's like, I had to tell myself in this moment, it's like, do I keep trading? I don't think so. Like, I made my 10 cents. This was a good trade. And if I was going in like I used to with all my buying power, then this would be quite a bit, actually. And we would be very happy with how this ended up. 13 cents on a trade, on 1,000 shares is $130. And that would be great, So this is a win. This is a win, and I decided to walk, and I did some trading. You see some other trades in here, IPST. There's a bunch of trades in here that are all in the all sim work that I was doing. This is the on the main account. And so why isn't it showing? Oh, that's news up there. Okay. So let's pull up the data real quick, and then we'll go over the live footage. Where is the data? Right here. This is the month of August. We are at a 50% win rate. We've not made very many trades, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 trades. Yep, 6 trades right there. And we are up total of $40. My goal here is to get this win rate up. I want to focus on accuracy and less trades. So 1 trade a day, 2 trades a day, 3 trades a day. If I would have traded that and I would have broke even, I might have tried to make another trade. But I think if I get that, first like 10 cents or 10 to 20 cents or whatever, I think we should, for the month of August, I think we just call it. So I took off and worked out and came back and recorded the video now. But so yeah, we're just going to keep working on this. Again, I want to get this win rate up, and we're not so much focused on dollars, just kind of net sense, win rate, accuracy, and building confidence in getting in and trading again. And I think this is a step in the right direction because it wasn't the perfect stock by any means. And then so that brings the account up to a profit of $184. Yes, you heard that right, $184. I have been doing this since December, and in June, middle of June, I was up almost 2K, and I lost most of it when the PDT rule changed, combined with some bad decisions on my part, and I've spent a lot of time learning and growing in those areas to try and not make that same mistake again. So we're going through it, but right now it's not about this. It's about just chipping away with base hits and getting small wins. And so for those of you guys who just wanted that information, it's there. And for anyone who wants to learn potentially how to use level 2 or how I use level 2 in this scenario to make this trade, hang around. Let's go through this. I'll pull over the recording and we'll do it. So I want to say something here that I've been thinking about. I've received some comments in YouTube and then also some DMs in Discord. I brought this up before. Of people saying that they would support like a membership on this channel if I did it, and I think I've been very clear, like I'm not in this to make money off of you guys. I'm not planning on, if I become a great trader one day, I'm not planning to sell a course. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just happy to be here. This is my journal, and there's a community here of like-minded folks that I've learned from. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, what I'm about to do here, this would be kind of cool if I did this like once a week on like a Friday or something, and it was either a recording or live, and it was in the members area, and we just pick one losing trade and one winning trade and just go over it, right? Live would be fun because I could get that interaction and people could like literally just, they could provide their comments on the fly, and I could be like, oh, I missed that, that kind of thing. But I think initially you would just start out as like a recording. So that would be like what you're about to see now, wrapped up in kind of like the membership. And I don't know what it would be. I haven't thought about price. Like I'm really just not trying to think about the money side of things. So, but $4.99 or $9.99, I don't really know. So it's just one of those things. And so let me know as you're watching this, if, and maybe I'll put a poll up or something, because I don't really want to do it if it's going to be perceived as a negative thing, or if it's going to be or if it's not going to be useful, So it just gives me one more thing to put out content about, which I could do for just the general channel as well, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to do as a membership. So anyway, that's that. And let's go over this, the live archive of this trade. Let's see here. We can close this down, actually. Actually, we can close all of this down, right? Yeah, we can close this down. We can close Dash Trader down. And I can pull up the video, which I was pretty sure I had right here. There's no audio. Let me get a little water real quick. I will show you guys also the live footage of, I'm trying to try to remember to show you guys the scanner. Let's do that actually. So when did I trade this? This was at we'll call it 8:15. Let's pull up BRNX on the scanner at 8:15. I'll show you guys how this part works. Not there, Nelson. By the way, if you've been using Chart Watcher, you know that this little piece they put right here, this leave full screen, is a nice change, because before there was something else there that blocked those buttons and I couldn't hit them. So that's kind of sick. That's a new update they just put in. It's the little things in life. And then we're gonna go to the back tester, and I want to go to running up. This might take a sec to pull up, but I use this back testing tool all the time. It helps me to understand. It helps me when I make changes. When I'm trying to like get stocks to show up at certain times or certain alerts, and when I make a change, I go in and I take a look at the back test to see when it would actually, when it would show up. And this has helped me out a lot. So we'll pull up the runner, and let's see. Today is the 17th, and we'll pull up. Kind of wish I was looking this way. I think I can. Nah, I can't do it. We'll go 8 a.m. 8 a.m. right here to. And this is the back testing tool that is provided by Charts Watcher. 8 a.m. We'll go to like 8:30 because I think that's probably far enough. Yeah, 8:30. I think yep. And then we put the symbol in, which was BRNX, and you can put multiple symbols in here if you want with comma, and then you just hit the start button, and it's gonna populate. So. This is what I was saying about, when did I trade this? I traded this at right around this level in here. Yeah, 824, is that right? Let me take a quick look at this. That seems about right. Yeah, 822, 824. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about with this scanner. You can't really see it here because it's got a few things added in here, but basically with the 5 pillars of stock selection over at Warrior Trader, you have breaking news. And there's no news here. I think this is where, I forget where the news shows up here, but I want to say it's like right here. But it doesn't have news, so that's one hit. But it's in the price range I want, which is why that is dark green. It's low float. I actually was thinking about changing this. This shows light green for anything like under $1 million, but I'm fine with anything, like I consider anything under 10 million low float. Sure, the super low float ones can get like kind of hairy, but... actually, I might leave it. I just kind of thought I'd like to see that to be bright green. But anyway, any hint of green is good. It's a positive sign. It's got the right float. It's up a decent percentage. And then right here is the big one, relative volume. So as it's moving up, I notice it has good daily relative volume. Now, some of that volume was from this morning, so I wanted to be careful about that. So it wasn't just that it had relative volume, right? And then I was watching, I'm actually going to make a couple changes, but I was watching like that. You could see that the 5-minute relative volume was climbing up. So this thing, it's moving up, and I want to add in here. You can see what's happening with 1-minute volume, 13,041. You can start to see that. There's actually a setting, I'm going to add it in here, where you can see the same percentage right here, but you do it for the 1 minute. And I got that, who was that recommended that to me? I think it was Ghost, but in one of his scanners actually. But I'm gonna have to cut that out. No, I don't have to cut that out. That's fine. I think that's totally fine. And that's kind of nice to see. So you can see these numbers here, but it'd be nice to kind of see this, but in the 1 minute version of it. So anyway, it met 4 pillars of stock selection is the point I'm trying to make, and this is kind of how it came up on the scanner. So as we come over here to take a look at this, this is how I've popped over. Obviously, the scanner, this is my recording. So like this scanner isn't sitting here. This is actually a daily chart. And I had some stuff on the daily chart marked off, but and disregard, like don't judge me, okay? Don't you judge me. I had a 4-hour chart up, and I wasn't like paying attention to like how zoomed out it was. So he has a few things going on here, but I had to make a quick adjustment here. Now, I want to back this up because it's right away, yeah, right here. So right here, we've pulled it up. I just pulled it up. It's over VWAP. It doesn't have much volume, like in the moment, right? These candles don't have very much volume. But it meets the other criteria, so I'm kind of waiting for volume to come in. The spread's 9 cents. That's not great, but I'm waiting, and I kind of do like the formation that the chart is forming here. Like if these were high volume candles, you'd have 1 minute candle over highs the whole way up, right? So visually, I like that. When I go over here, I've got this. We're going to get into the level 2. I've got 6,200 shares right there at 432. So the first thing I'm thinking is like, how's the stock going to respond? How is price action? How are traders going to? How is it going to respond when trading hits this level of 432? And it's hard to borrow an SSR. Now, SSR is market wide, so short sale restriction. It means that shorts can only short on an uptick. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they can't short when it's on its way down, I believe. That's how I interpret it. And then we have hard to borrow right here. So that is platform specific. It can be easy to borrow and SSR. So this one was hard to borrow and SSR, which means that at least on my platform. By the way, Dash Trader, when you're using, I have verified this. When you're using a Dash Trader through Charles Schwab, you're not getting the hard to borrow information that they have at Charles Schwab. You're getting the hard to borrow information through IBKR. I think that's the acronym, whatever, Interactive Brokers. And I have verified this multiple times with their support. So, which is kind of nice because Thinkorswim loves their hard to borrow, and everything is hard to borrow over there. And so it gives you this preconceived notion that something might be safe. Anyway, it's just one of those things. So on my platform, it's hard to borrow, and it's SSR. So I see that. I see we've got 62 sitting here. And now I'm like, okay, let's take a look. Let me see if I can do this easily. Yeah. So you see me messing with the chart over here on the left. And then my focus, you're going to see me moving stuff around over here, but really my focus is on the level 2 and the chart. And the tape. The tape isn't moving that fast yet. So volume hasn't really come in yet. I'm trying to get this to work how I want. There we go. But we're going to let this play out so you guys can see kind of what I'm after. And I'm seeing, like you can see right here at 38, let me back this up because I want to just focus on the level 2. I'm not going to focus on the charting. The only thing I do on the charting here, there's some stuff moving around, but the only thing I end up doing is marking off a level right here, which is at $5 on the 4-hour chart. And that's only because I had the 4-hour chart up instead of the 5-minute chart. I meant to have the 5-minute chart up, but I don't mind the 4-hour chart too. So I marked that off there. I marked off a daily as well. But 5 o'clock was an area that I was like, or sorry, $5 was an area I was like, okay, that's an area I have in my mind. The stock's at 430 something. Let's just see what we can do. And then we're focused on basically just on this. So let's get into it. Go back to where we were, right here, because this is supposed to be about level 2, right? So let me do this, and we go 10 seconds back. Yeah. Okay. So like we said here, it's 62 right here, 6,200 right there, and we're gonna keep focusing here because this is what we're gonna be looking at. And so now we're at a higher price, but there was 66 right there. I can't pause this for some reason. I'm struggling with this at the moment. Give me a minute. Give me a minute here, folks. 62 at 432. And I'm going to try not to use my mouse to do this. Now, we've moved past that price, but it's not because we moved through it because someone bought through it. At least that's not how I saw that. We still have a little bit here at 440. There's 66 right there. It just popped in. Here we have another, I don't know, we'll call that 3,000 at 438. And I'm just watching. We're not having a ton of volume here. And then here I see right here around this range, we've got quite a bit more right here, 438, 439. We've got some pretty good size right here, right? And so there was a moment where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to trade this. I don't think it's going to move up. I'm going to keep going. Here we are at 450. Now we've broken 450, and this is where you kind of started to see some green on the tape right here. So we start seeing some action on the tape. I did not buy at 450, and the main reason is because I still, at this point, did not like the volume that I was seeing yet. Even though it has great relative volume, I'm thinking I'm still not liking, I still would like to have a little bit more volume come in here. And so when it goes past 450 now, I'm like, okay, well, I can't use 450 now. I got to use something else. But maybe we'll get support at 450. And still seeing green on the tape right here. So we're starting to see some action. Now it's starting to climb up a little bit. And there's going to be a moment here. I'm kind of moving through this to refresh my memory. Still have 20 here at 453. But it burned through it. And then I've got some support over here. So I've got 2,700 here at 445. And now I'm thinking, if this keeps going, I'm going to try to get in for like the break of like $5. Let me see how long this goes. I'm going to see if we can get some key levels in here for you guys so we can kind of move through this and get to the actual trade. But because really it's the actual trade that I was looking at that I want to talk about with the level 2. But I was reading level 2 the whole way up. I'm staring at this to see how price action is going to respond with bigger size here or bigger size here and what happens on the tape. That's basically what I'm doing here. So again, there's 31 at 468. And now it's down here. Keep looking here. Still there at 468. And then we're going to move through it here, I think. So yeah, right here is where I'm thinking there's probably nothing going to happen here on this move. But I don't want to take my eyes off because it's probably the only chance I'm going to get today. So let's just see if it's going to curl back. Still watching it, and we're going to let this play out. And sorry this is taking a little bit longer than I thought, but someone might find this helpful. Here's where you can see I start marking things off. I got some time. Like, what are we looking at here? 473, 495. All right, so it's already, I was right there. I was looking to see like what was the last pivot point, like where are we at? So right here we have 100 at 437. Saw that come through. Doesn't really mean a whole lot to me in this moment. That could be anything, but we're seeing this kind of curl happen back up here on the 10-second chart. Let's move through this. All right, 460, we've got 2,900 and 2,000 right here. So at some of these levels, I'm seeing the price action break through those levels. So I still think this has a chance. So now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's 473 is the high of that candle right there. And 495 is HOD. So if it breaks this level at like 480 is what I had in my head. If it can get to 480, I will try to go in 480, 485 for the break of $5. That is the decision that I made pretty much right here as I saw that first kind of rejection come down and then this thing start to kind of curl back up. But everything still has to line up. I'm not just going to willy-nilly it, that's for sure. And I'll show you what made me decide to go in. It's coming up, actually. And I'll pause this when I see anything else. So you can see over here, we still have green coming through this tape. There's plenty of opportunities to get in a little bit earlier than when I got in, but I really wanted to see it actually bust through that level with some volume. I'm still waiting for volume to kind of really come in. Where are you? Here we go. And there's going to be a point at which. So right here I see 450. There's some stacking up there at 450, and right in this moment I'm like, okay, are people going to sell into that, and then bring that down? So are anyone who's holding a position, are they going to try to sell, their shares at 450 and break that level and bring the price down? So that's kind of what I was thinking as I was watching that, and it didn't. So now the bid's 455, and then there's going to be a point right I'll show you where it's at. It's coming up right now. You're starting to see price action start to move a little quicker on the tape. So we've got a little bit more volume coming in. And right there. So right here we got 5,000 at 475. And this is kind of the part I probably should just skip to in the very beginning if you're not already bored. So I was going to get in at 480, maybe 485, and then I see this. And in order for it to reach 480 or 485, it's going to have to break this level. And I have a couple options. If this starts to dwindle down, which it does, which is what I'm going to show you, this is how I used level 2 to enter in on this trade today. And I had used level 2 to paint the picture all the way up to this point. And I didn't do the best job explaining that part of it. I did an okay job, but really this is kind of the nuts and bolts of it. So I see this come, like if this breaks through, if this dwindles down, then there's a potential that it could pop. And but I wasn't sure. But you'll start to see, I want you to keep your eyes right here. Right here, you're going to see this number start to go down. And I'll pause it a little bit here too as it does it. So it starts at 50. It's going to come back up in a second. Right there. 41, 35, 28, 23. You can see green on the tape. 16, 1, and we've broken through the level. Now it's 477. Now, I thought about buying when I saw that momentum go through, but I just wasn't sure if it was going to break it. And so I decided to wait. The good play would have been to go ahead and buy when everyone else is buying. That's kind of the point. Green, you see all the green on the tape. The price is moving down. I'm sorry, the order size is moving down. The share size on the ask is moving down, and then you get in on that at some point in time for that initial pop that comes up. So it hits 477 right here, and then so I decide I'm going to buy this at 480. So right at 480, you see there's 900 shares hitting right here, and I hit the buy button right here, and right when I hit it, we go to 481, and now we've got whatever that is, almost 3,000 shares right there. And I'm like, oh man. So maybe. By the way, where's my stop? My stop on this is that level we just broke. So I have pretty tight stop. My stop is going to be 475. That's just what I had said for myself. I'm going to have it be 475 where that level was. So right here it goes up to 488, 490. I get filled at 490. So I actually put the order in at 480 with a 10-cent offset. It fills me at 490. That's fine. I do want to point out that if you were on a faster broker, you would have got filled. And in my opinion, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the little 10-cent. I don't even like to call it slippage because that's my offset. But I was wanting to get in around 480, and there was plenty of time, like almost 2 seconds, about a second of plenty of stuff there for me to buy, and it filled me at 490. So that alone is 10 cents beyond where I kind of wanted to get in. That is one of the reasons why I sold what I think might be a little early. We're going to take a look in a second. So I'm in at 490. My initial stop that I set was 475. But now because I'm in 490, I moved my stop to 480 in my head. So I could have kept it 475, but I don't want to take 15 cents of risk. I'm good. Anyway, it goes up to 504, goes up to 525, and then it rejects back down, and I'll pause it in a second. Right here. So see, you got 525 here, and it comes back down to like 504. I tried to get out at like 513, and I end up getting out at 503, which is fine. But the reason why I got out is because I saw that weakness, right, in the price action. I saw weakness in price action right here, which is why I got out. I'm not looking at the chart at all at this point once I'm in this thing, right? So if you back this up right here, the share size is going to climb down right there. I'm going to get in, and as soon as the price action starts to come down, so right here it's 495, 504, 524, 524. Now I should have taken a profit here, but I was kind of thinking this thing would go up a little bit more. But 30 cents would be pretty sick right here, right? That would have been great. But hey, it's all right. Green is green. As soon as I see the bid and the ask start to drop right here, and you're going to see it, boom, it just popped right back down, and I've already initiated my order to get out. So that was my exit signal. Would I have loved to take in a profit? Sure. But that was the reason why I ended up getting out right there. And it ended up bouncing up. I think it went up. Let's take a look. It did. It bounced back up to like 530. We'll call it 526 on the bid, and that was pretty much it. And then it came right back down. So I don't know how helpful that's going to be because of how my brain is just kind of scattered, is like fragmented this morning, and now this video is a whopping 46 minutes long. But that is how I used level 2 to get into this trade, and what my mind was thinking. I actually really love that kind of setup where no matter where I'm at, if I see a size on the ask and it's getting chewed up, then that's like, I love to enter there while it's being chewed up, preferably towards the bottom of where it's getting chewed up. Today, maybe because I've been skittish last week and I just wanted to be sure, I waited until it actually cleared, and then I got in when I saw the orders on the ask weren't like, where there wasn't that big, there wasn't big size sitting on the ask, even though the size came in like right after I entered. But good trade, a little base hit, using level 2, 4 pillars of stock selection. And the spreads were a little bigger than I'm okay with like a 5-cent spread. So I'm not even that's fine. But they were like 5-6 cents, they're kind of bouncing around a little bit there. And I'm okay with somewhere in that range. It's when they're like around 10 cents or something like that, I'm just like, even more than 5 cents. I'm I'm not really sure. And then it was HTB and SSR. Not a bad trade in my opinion. I'm sure there's gonna be reasons why it wasn't the best trade, but for me, I picked a target, picked a stock, picked an entry I wanted, and then that 475 with those 50 shares started kind of chewing up, and I'm like, okay, well, this is actually decent because if it chews through that, it's going to pop. It pops, get in, see my exit signal, get out, and I decide, hey, I'm not going to trade anymore on the day. We're just going to take those 13 cents. We're going to take that win, and we're going to run. I hope you guys were green today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow.